Game On magazine is chatting to Gerhard de Beer, who has quite a unique story. He went over to the States initially to compete as a discus athlete, and now is playing American football for the University of Arizona. Hello, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you?
Thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Gerhard, let's start off by how did you get stateside? I mean, you finished school at Affie's in Pretoria, you studied for 6 months at Tux, and then you left. How did this all come about?
So I did well at some international track and field discus athletics competitions. World Youth Champs in France, Lille. 2011, I got a bronze medal there, and then 2012 in Barcelona at the World Junior Championships, I got a bronze medal there as well. And so a lot of the American coaches scout athletes from those competitions because it's a high-level competition, and it's easy to get a high-performing athlete on one spot. So what a lot of coaches did was actually contact me after that. Some even called to my hotel and things like that. And I initially said no, I didn't want to go. You know, it's far from home and things like that. So I wanted to stay home initially and try the South African system first. And needless to say, I think I thought I had better opportunities here in America. And then one of the coaches who was recruiting me from a university here in America showed me an eagle-eye view of the whole athletics track they had. And from that view, you could see the football stadium, and I said, wow, what is that? Do I throw in there? He said, oh no, that's the football stadium. I said, really? How many people does it take? And I don't remember the amount, 60 something, maybe 70,000 people. And I said, wow, that's really cool. He said, yeah, it's been sold out for this many games in a row. I said, wow, can I play? He said, no, I'm not going to let you play football. So what I did is I said that I wanted to find a school that will let me try out football. You know, I'm young and I still want to try multiple things in sports and see what I can explore a little bit more physical, talent-wise and things like that. When I got narrowed down two schools that would give me the opportunity to play football, one was here at the University of Arizona, and then the other one was Southern Methodist University, where my cousin Simone de Toy went. She was a really good thrower as well for SMU, and she did really well as a young athlete too. And from there on, decided that the University of Arizona was the one I wanted to go to because they had a men's track and field program while SMU did not. So I came over in July 29th is when I touched down, 2013, and that's where the story began.
Gerhard, I'm allowed to know, do you speak Afrikaans with an American accent?
Nee, glad nie.
Well, that's good to hear. Moving on. I mean, you do discus and you play American football. You are in the starting team for the. Moving along. You perform as a discus thrower as well as playing American football. You play for the University of Arizona's first team. Let's talk about the training, because obviously South Africans are not going to know what the American sporting calendar is like. Is it the same seasons, or how does it work? Can you do it at the same time, or is there different periods of the year that you train?
So we complement each other pretty well. I get the football season is from August to December, while the athletic season is from January to May. So they complement each other pretty well.
Now tell us, how do you cope being a South African and studying in America, being so far away from your support base? What do you do in order to feel like you have some sort of home?
It's a great question. I FaceTime my parents pretty often, but no matter how much you talk to them over the phone, it's not the same as having them next to you in physicality. So just talking to my parents often, I've learned to make friends here, and keeping busy, honestly, because that keeps my mind off home for the most part. If I just keep busy, I think about the task at hand rather than thinking about going home.
Definitely, Gerhard. Let's talk a little bit about, South Africans won't know what American football is. There are a few of us who follow it. I am one of them. I support the New England Patriots. What is the major difference? Because obviously rugby, American football stems from rugby union. And you would have played it at school, I'm sure, having gone to Affies and looking
Yes.
at your physical size. What are the major differences besides the obviously stop-start of the game? I mean, rugby union is a lot more fluid than American football is. What are the major differences, and what else? What did you take from rugby union that you can utilize in American football?
So first of all, I just want to clarify: football and rugby is nothing alike. The only thing that's similar is that you need to be well conditioned for it. You know, physical wise, you need to be strong. You need to be athletic. You need to be able to move. You know, agile, and also you need to be able to be physical with it. And that's the only similarities between the sports. Other than that, there aren't much similarities. The game is different, the rules are different, and it's completely different. I had to pick everything up from the start up. So it was a whole learning process from I got here up to pretty much last year. I had enough knowledge to be able to play.
Let's talk about your aspirations, both in discus and in American football. Where would you like to go with your sporting career?
You know, I get that question often, and it's hard to answer because I said I'll just the American system is kind of complicated. You only get a certain amount of years to perform your tasks that you want to perform at the university. So you only get 4 years of eligibility. A fifth year that you can sit out if you were injured or if something else would come up, for example. So what a lot of young guys do is they redshirt is what they call the sitting out year, and they redshirt the first year. But the amount of time you have, I competed back in South Africa for discus, so I only had 3 years left when I got here, but I have 4 in football, so my eligibility for discus is already finished. So I decided to put the discus aside for a bit and see how well I can do in football.
Do you have aspirations to become pro one day and play in the NFL?
Yes, I do, but I'm just worried about our next game right now.
And who's your next game against?
Stanford, very world-renowned university. So.
Ivy League school?
Technically, no, but academic-wise, they probably should be, but the sporting does well enough so they could be Division 1.
Okay, and then who would you say is your derby match? I mean, obviously, going to Affies, your derby match was Boys High. Who is University of Arizona's derby match? Who is the big one?
Arizona State University, their mascot is, they call them, their nickname is the Sun Devils, and their mascot is a little yellow and maroon devil. Kind of funny.
Now, you know, I always ask my athletes when I'm interviewing them what words of advice they would give for the next generation of athletes in the sport that they compete in. Now, obviously, discus is an athletic discipline, and there are a lot of South Africans who do it, but there aren't a lot of South Africans who do outside sports. You must be one of a few, if the only South African who's playing American football at college level in America. But what would you say to the guys who are thinking about going overseas, not just to the States, but anywhere overseas to compete and to play sports? What would you say to them?
I would say take the opportunity and never look back, because you can never go. You know, it's like saying you can never see what the opportunity is like if you never go. So if you were to stay in South Africa, you would always wonder, you know, what could have been. So from my side, my advice is take the opportunity and go and live as wide as you can and expand your horizon. So in that way, you know, you can always have multiple options in the future.
Gerhard, Game On Magazine would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much for spending some time with us as we learn about one of our own who is pursuing a career in American football. It's been an absolute privilege learning more about you and American football. So thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thanks, Gerhard. Appreciate it.